Well, just when you think the loony left can't get any more woke, they never cease to amaze me. It's hard to keep up with their zaniness. So let's see if we can just remember some of the absurdities of 2023. And to help us is Evita Duffy from The Federalist, along with actor and social media guru Braden Sorbo, plus, of course, our special guest, Melanie Collette. So before I forget, I do apologize. I identify as cisgender, and my pronouns are he, him, his, I, me, my, mine, and myself, okay? So let's start it off. I'll do that. You know, with the whole Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney idiocy, because there's nothing like a guy pretending to be a woman to promote manly beer like Bud Light. This may have been, I think, when the woke left kind of went too far and jumped the shark, because the backlash was swift and it hasn't let up. Good. Bud Light was punished. So let me start with you, Evita. Do you think corporate America took notice?
I do think that they took notice, but I don't think that they're going to learn their lesson. And here's why. Bud Light never should have made this Dylan Mulvaney partnership in the first place. We have to, and they have to know that their consumers were going to respond negatively to this. But Bud Light and every other corporation that goes woke isn't doing it for the consumers. We now have ESGs, environmental social governance, controlling everything that these corporations are doing. And it's actually going to start impacting not just the bigger companies like Bud Light, like Target, but even smaller ones. And that's actually what Larry Fink of BlackRock wants. He said in the next 5 years, ESGs are going to control everything that we do, and so I think it was a bad financial year for Bud Light, but I don't think that they're going to change their ways, and neither are any of the world companies.
So parents and like just plain normal people of all stripes are pushing back more and more on the whole idea of like transgender women, which is a male, a biological male. We don't even need to say that, playing in women's sports. The whole nonsense is just crazy. Brandon, Brady, do you think this is going to continue or not?
Until something happens where a state signs into law that you have to be biologically a female to play in women's sports or biologically man to play in men's sports, I personally don't think anything's going to happen. I mean, it's a good thing that I was good at the sports I played when I was a kid, so I didn't have the desire to chop off any genitals and go, beat women in swimming or basketball or football or baseball, whatever sport, you name it.
Melanie, let me ask you, what was the wokest story of the year?
Quite honestly, the way the Ivies are handling the pro-Palestinian protests are super woke. And the Empress herself, Claudine Gay, I think she's the queen of woke because it opened a Pandora's box revealing how woke these institutions tend to be. Her being appointed president with 40 allegations of plagiarism, with her having a hard time saying whether or not it's absolutely against their guidelines to protest and be pro-exterminating an entire race of people, and all of the wokeness that is involved in these universities. So I think that's the most woke story ever.
Evita, what do you think?
Oh my goodness, most woke story. I'm going to have to agree about the Hamas and Palestine protests, but I also just think the way that DEI has controlled everything that seems to be happening in the world, right? It's not just who gets into universities, right? But also who is able to get jobs as they leave the universities. Everything, diversity, equity, and inclusion has now infiltrated every part of American life and is controlling everything we do. And now the best and the brightest are not thriving and going into positions of power in America, which is a real problem as we look into 2024 and see that the best people for the job are not getting those jobs. And our country is being run truly by diversity hires, and it's going to have a lot of problems for us.
Braden, what do you think? If you can remember back during the year, what was the wokest, the craziest?
The worst story, the wokest thing that's happened this year was San Francisco cleaning up the streets for Chinese President Xi Jinping. That was overall the worst thing because it shows that we have the capability to clean up the streets and to take care of the problems, but we refuse to do it, which signifies something far worse than a lot of what I've noticed in politics and in social media today, aside from the fact that TikTok and China itself has such a massive hold on the U.S. and the population. It's really terrifying.
So I just thought of another one, okay? If you saw this. Canadian Prime Minister, the effeminate Justin Trudeau, is now requiring free feminine hygiene products in male restrooms. Okay. So, Braden, this is good, I think, for men who menstruate, right?
Well, I mean, frankly, I'm not surprised it is him. He does need those products. So can we blame him?
Evita, does this make your blood boil? I mean, seriously, how insane are we? These are supposed to be leaders of countries and adults who are playing this game. And they know it's a game. Clearly, nobody thinks this is right.
Well, it makes me mad at the feminists, frankly, because they are supposedly the ones who stand up for women and care about women. And they've just basically taken to the sidelines on this and said, you know what, trans men taking over women's sports, not able to define even what it means to be a woman or what it means to be feminine. They don't care about that anymore. But then I guess you look back at the history of feminism, and actually that was sort of the goal, right? In the 1960s and 70s, they wanted to break down the family. They wanted to break down what it meant to be a woman and actually make women more like men, so that somehow that would make them better in the workplace, more liberated from the restraints of the nuclear family. And so actually I get mad at them, but at the same time I think, you know what, it's probably their fault that we're where we are right now.
Melanie, I'll give you the last word on this stupid story. You got 20 seconds.
It's very dumb. The easiest part of being a woman is the hair, nails, and stilettos. The other part about the bathroom stuff, that's the hard part, and they don't even need it, so stop it. It's infuriating.
It really, truly is. We've gone completely mad, and I hope 2024 is the year that everyone just, common sense kicks in. I don't think it will, because we've got a presidential election and TDS will kick in again. But Evita Duffy, Braden Sorbo, and of course our special guest Melanie Collette, thanks for being with me, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.